So SureDash is getting a lot of excitement, but people are very unsure of the state it's in. So because things are moving so fast, I don't think it's going to make a lot of sense to do a full-out tutorial. I'm also kind of stepping out of that because I have a lot on my plate. But I did want to give back to the community a little bit for all the help that I get and give you a window into what SureDash is capable of. So this is the current state of SureDash version 1.4 and some of its capabilities. Now, to give you some context, I run a therapy clinic, and this is for mental health therapy, and I want to centralize all of my resources for all my therapists here. So I have onboarding, I have my schedules for my therapists here in their different offices. I have events. This is with SureDash again. So the events are for things like our monthly meetings, general assemblies. So you can see I just slapped a video here of the recording of this. I have things like this support page. So if my therapists need technical support, they can book a session, Google appointments, nothing too fancy here. Very useful tool for me as a business owner is having my onboarding on here. So this is my onboarding training. I use the SureDash lessons. So everything is nicely organized in here. You can use things like SureForms, obviously, to order business cards. I do use bricks and their bricks components to get dynamic data. I can show a little bit of the brick side of things later on. So beyond onboarding, which is great to have that standardized, I also have our training videos for using our booking software. So I'm not constantly getting the same questions from my team about how to do different things all the time. Again, SureDash course is great for this. I have, things about how to serve clients better. I am using the SureDash collection here. So this is training material for my team about creating content. So within here, this collection, I have different courses, creating an intro video, what it means to be in the spotlight and share opinions that are controversial, these kinds of things. I also have specific trainings for people with different roles in my team. So they have their own little training. I think this is a good moment to show you that within the portal, you can see all the spaces here. This is a lot of information for the average team member. So they will actually have, again, Google login is done here. So I did set up Google login, and I actually can strain that to just people from my domain. But this is an example of what a newcomer to our portal will have. They will have the first things, but for trainings, they will only have our onboarding and the software. They won't have access to all the other things. Just prevent overload. Just to give you an example, changing a user's access is very easy with Sure members. I can now say, okay, this is no longer a new person. They should have access to everything. And just like that, they will now have access to the booking software trainings, as well as creating content, trainings about better serving their clients, and I'm hiding onboarding. They will no longer need to see that kind of thing in the future. All that to show that also the trainings that are specific to roles won't be seen here. So there's something thérapeute en chef, which you will see on as an administrator. I see everything, but the average member won't see that. And of course, my lead therapist will also get access to this training. Next, I do have a resource space. This is a great little space to keep things like consent forms, resources that my therapists need often. Then I have a place where I keep my team updated on the projects. They can write comments on what they think needs to happen in a given project, so I'm more in touch with my team as a whole, and they are more in touch with where we're developing. I think this is a great use for the comment system in SureDash in a business setting as a business portal. And then finally, I just have some links that my team needs access to. Realistically, I think this is a bit superfluous, but I'm often asked for example, where to get the Stripe information. I do not work with tech-savvy people, so I need to make sure that I'm making this as tech-ignorant, accessible as possible. So there you go. There are some little modifications I made to SureDash. For example, the profile information. I got rid of the banner. I don't necessarily care for my therapist to be changing the banner on their profiles. I also hid their bio. I've manually changed those to their mission, which is on the main website. But I've added phone number and non-business email and address. This is just information that is easier for me to handle. And I have a directory that I've created in here for my team members. If you're an executive, you have access to their phone number, address, this kind of stuff. Otherwise, it is hidden. So I think SureDash is a great way to centralize a business and make this kind of thing easier. Otherwise, this would be essentially done through Google Drive or something like that. And keeping these kinds of resources organized is a bit chaotic. Giving people access or not access to different drives, this, that, the other. I think SureDash is a very simple way to organize a business, and there's something a bit friendlier about leaving comments and stuff on this kind of a platform. Now I'm going to come over here to Bricks Builder, because I do use Bricks Builder, despite the fact that most of the spaces and the content is done through Gutenberg. I think that's definitely the better way to go about it. Once in a while I need dynamic data, and I'm never going to take care of dynamic data in Gutenberg. That is far too painful. So what I do is with Bricks, I will create components that load in my dynamic data, and then I can just, with Bricks 2.1, I believe now, you can turn these blocks into components that are Gutenberg friendly, and then just put that block into Gutenberg. I created an accordion for that kind of thing, because for some reason Gutenberg doesn't have an accordion. I'm not going to question that one too much. Something else though I will mention about Bricks. I don't use any framework. ACSS kind of makes this very chaotic. SureDash is very controlled kind of about styles, and it's fine. I don't think you need to really control too much of the styles beyond colors. So with that said, I do make good use of the variables. So I have all my colors separated in HSL, so I can create different shades and transparencies. Excuse me. I use that for my spacing, all that kind of thing. Honestly, I think the days of the frameworks is coming to an end, because this kind of file is free to import, export, and you get access to all of the same kinds of variables that you would have in a lot of those frameworks, built directly into Bricks, and no fear of it getting outdated in the future. This is my personal approach. For styles, I do recommend doing something like this. I did a little custom CSS, body.dark mode, and then within that I can just change some of my variables to flip, so the text dark turns into the variable light, which is essentially my text light. Now for the background, you can see I use Portal Global Color 6. Where that is coming from if you are in the SureDash designers, it's this block here, the customized portal, you have light colors and dark colors. These colors here are connected to variables. You can essentially swap out the portal background and then from the front to end, inspect, go see what that color name is called. Anyways, you know how to do that kind of thing, so I'm not going to go into it too much. But you can see the names here, the different portal global colors. And then with Bricks Builder, you can just essentially give a variable the value of those colors and then use those variables in different ways. All that to say, the light and dark mode will now work not only within the SureDash content, but also in Bricks content. So my library here that I have is Bricks content, and it has the exact same colors as my portal, despite it not being within the portal and being built purely in Bricks. So setting up variables that you can use that are connected to the light and dark mode is a pretty easy way to keep everything consistent throughout. This is a little bit of code here for hiding the profile settings. Like I showed earlier, I hide the bio and I hide the description. Other little elements, I guess, contextual spacing. This is important for getting the spacing within Gutenberg to look good. You can, add your list items, all that kind of thing. And then you want to apply that spacing in the portal space post content. Other little things are in the elements, in the section element. I added this clamp function. Just goes from 0 to one of my variables I set up to be my space XL, and then within smaller, within smaller screen sizes, it changes down to some of my smaller spacing, and that just makes it so that any content that's created within Bricks and shown in the portal still has gutters on the side. Not gutters, but yeah, you'll have appropriate padding as your screen size changes. While on the topic of Bricks, I do want to show you that there's currently a bug in version 1.4 that Bricks content doesn't necessarily work. So I have this page. Currently, I just have a link that goes outside of the portal, and then I can, this is a library of books. Everything is being tracked with SureCart and just a SureCart, custom post type query. And everything works here just fine. I can search for English books and it's going to give me English books. All my filters work. But if I was to change this to be inside of SureDash, which I will do now to show you. So yes, I'll just add this as a new space, call it library space, and give it a single post. Then I can use WordPress page, go for my library, and publish. So just like that, you do create new spaces. Oops. But just like that, you do create new spaces quite easily. So I now have this library space, which is within SureDash. It's the same page. The only issue is that these kinds of filters at the moment don't really work. You can see that my query is not changing. The query variables, however, the filter variables are, however, in the URL. So if you were to have a submit button for your filters and you just have it refresh the page, you'll see that it does in fact work, but it doesn't work live. So for now, I think if you have Bricks content with queries and you want filters and all that kind of stuff, just have a link that goes to a page that's outside of the portal like this, and then make sure to put a link back to the portal to some page that makes sense. For me, I have it bring you back to news on the portal. So that's an important element to understand about the Bricks and SureCart integration. It's not quite there yet, but it is still definitely the builder I would use, just for the fact that I can make these components and make good use of them in my portal later on. We'll take a quick look at the back end here to show you a little bit of how this kind of stuff works. Pretty straightforward. If you have a course, for example, this is my onboarding course, for me, it didn't make sense to have a like button and share button, so I do that. Because I have Sure members, I can say make the space hidden and then just choose the different access groups to get it. So literally just say is in and then choose the access groups you've created. Really straightforward. For something like my content creation, which is a collection, you'll see I have the collection here. Again, I've made the space hidden and it's only accessible to people that have gone past all the onboarding. And then I have the different courses within that space. To keep myself organized, I will show you a little bit of how I did that. So I have the collection here, and then I made an entire other space for that collection. This is literally just back-end organization. So I create all the courses in here. I make sure that each of these courses has space hidden. I make sure that the space, what is this called? I make sure that the group itself is also hidden. So if I go into this edit, I hide the label. And just like that, I can kind of create a group of all of the courses that are then in my collection, just for organization reasons. So you can see all my different collections here are like that. So that's a little tour of the space I've created. I hope that helps some people make a decision about buying or not. If you have questions, I guess you can ask me, but I would say you're better to ask in the SureCart Facebook group. Cheers.